Well, good afternoon, folks. It's the afternoon of May 1st as I'm doing this recording in preparation for the radio program tomorrow night on May 2nd. It's been a while since I've done a video, and that was because of the security issues that were going on there for an extended period of time when I was off the air. It's always nice to be back onto a video format. I want to share a couple things with you. Now, last week I gave a really good update about shifts and changes that are taking place around the currency exchange. A couple things I want to mention. One of the primary reasons for this big shift and change is because how Mr. M and Ms. M, I've had them there on, I've sent you out newsletters with the radio recordings that they are doing, is that they are beginning to be able to come out into the open. I've always talked about there are three primary funding sources, and they are the largest. They are part of the team that is a part of this largest funding source. It was a little over a year ago that I had Mr. M on my radio program, and it was only a few days after that. There basically is when I was in a forced accident, and I had totally forgot about that, but he basically said, yes, they basically created that accident for you is because you brought me on the radio program, and they now know that you were associated with the real people that really have the money. And I had to go quiet. I had to basically go underground until we felt it was comfortable enough for me to start coming out into the open, and I'm doing that now also with Ms. M. That would give you a reflection of the degree of who it is that we're working with. Remember, Mr. M spent 9 years inside the CIA. He also worked for the Pentagon as well. He is known by the director of every three-letter intelligence agency here in the United States of who he is associated with, and the team members that they have. Now, that's enough for that now. But concerning issues on the currency exchanges that are in process, I've been asked by those that are coordinating the carrying out of the authenticating of all that to go basically not talk about the currencies anymore. For security reasons, I'm not going to be talking about currency issues and exchange issues until we're back into a situation where it's safe to do that. So what I want to do now, I want to start basically a series of programs, and we'll see how long this will go. I want to talk about why are we here? What's the real reason for this funding? Where is this money coming from? And why is it coming forward now? What is its real purpose? I share these things in the workshop, and I want to now start expanding this out to the larger audience. What it really comes down to is that we're going through a massive shift and change in our history as a human race. We're shifting and changing as we are waking up, and we're basically, our whole sense of consciousness and awareness of what this world is really about is starting to change. You're going to hear me referring to, the referral to The Matrix, the movie, the fact that this world is not real, it's an illusionary world. I do share those issues in the workshop. But you're also going to be hearing me talk about what's the very root and the problem of all of this. What's the root problem of everything that we have of the human race? What is it that creates our problems? What creates our conflicts, our tensions, our warring, our killing, our anxieties, our fears, our divisions? What creates all this? Well, there's three very, very good sources that I have learned from, and I always come back and I refer to them because they all refer basically to the same thing. And it's what's called separation consciousness. It's how we divide and split in our minds from each other. It's about the impact that our thoughts have upon this quantum world around us, and it affects everything that goes on around us. Separation consciousness is talked about the very root problem of the human race in the Dr. Neruda interviews that I have referred to many times, and you can find those on the wingmakers.com website. That reference is on my website is there. You can go under the reference tab on my Sedona Connection website, and you'll find that link there as well. It's referred to them. In A Course in Miracles, it's referred to as the ego consciousness, and it's also referred to that into the writings and the works of Gary Renard, who expounds on A Course in Miracles. Why is it that I am such a strong proponent of A Course in Miracles? Well, separation consciousness, which is also ego consciousness, is the very root problem. And it creates from what is also referred to as a duality consciousness. Now, duality consciousness and separation consciousness are pretty much the same, but they create all of our problems. And A Course in Miracles talks about what is called pure non-dualism. It is referred to as basically the only source of what is called strong, spiritual, esoteric writing that is pure non-dualistic in what it puts out, and it doesn't compromise on that. The Vedanta, the ancient Hindu scriptures, came very, very close to that. But A Course in Miracles does that. I've been basically reading and studying A Course in Miracles in my own life now for close to, 7 or 8 years. And also, just to let you know, and I remember, folks, in my background, my educational background, I was a religion major in my undergraduate work. That was 40 years ago, okay? And then I went on in my graduate work. I got basically a master's degree in theology. So I've been around this type of thinking for more than 40 years. And I've been able to look at and try to understand almost all of what you would call spiritual esoteric writings that are out there. And I have never, ever found anything that comes anywhere close to the quality of the non-uncompromising nature of its message as A Course in Miracles does. And that's why I'm a firm believer in it and a firm student of it. Nothing has changed my life more than that. Nothing has given me a greater perspective of understanding what this world is about, why we are here, what it is that we're doing, and why am I doing what I do here. This isn't just about getting a bunch of money, folks. It's not about you and me becoming rich. It's also not you just getting some money so you can be relieved of some of your financial lack and anxieties and worries and fears around not having enough money, or just having enough money so you can be a little more comfortable. That's not what this is about. This is about these funds being released to a large number of people. And then what we get to do is take on the responsibility of undoing and working through our separation consciousness so that we are becoming basically the trailblazers, basically the front leaders of showing humanity how to work through all of this issue and coming back into being who we are supposed to be as a human race, not separated but unified. Now I'm going to share a little short video here that talks about how everything in this world is connected. We are all connected. All of us at the quantum level, energy field level, we're all interconnected. As human beings, we are all entangled at the quantum level with each other. And we're designed to be that way. The world is wanting us to be in a sense of oneness. The world is wanting us to be in a sense of unity. Well, what separation does, it takes this togetherness, this entanglement, and it separates it. It strips it apart. It pulls it apart, and it tears it apart. And even at the quantum energy field, when you're stripping away and tearing apart what is designed to be working together, operating in unity and smoothness and harmony, when you start stripping that away, it creates tension, it creates conflict, it creates disruption, it creates discord. And then those things get carried out in our behaviors. One of the reasons for these funds so that people like you and me have the ability to be financially free to do our work. We are financially free so that we're not in what is called the world of financial slavery anymore. We don't have lack. We're not slaves to jobs. And we get to take our time to do this work to establish a new paradigm of what unity consciousness is amongst a group of people. Now, having said that, I really want you to know we're not going to oversee you, to program you, to tell you what you can and cannot do. It's totally your choice. The funds will be available. You will get to participate. You will be able to receive. You will be able to give money away for projects. But I will start delivering more of these messages. And for those that want to do that, you'll move forward, and we'll move forward together as a group, is what we'll do. We'll develop this new sense of awareness. There's not a lot of teaching that is out there on separation consciousness. And remember, I've been around this stuff for 40 years, and I was surprised how long it took me to really see this and understand it. I'd heard about it, but I was never really quite at that point of comprehending it. And that started, about 9 years ago, when I read the first book by Gary Renard called Disappearance of the Universe. Now, you've heard me talk about that book. No book has impacted my life more than that one. Disappearance of the Universe by Gary Renard. As a side note also, I've gotten to know Gary very well personally, and he and his wife Cindy are avid believers and teachers around the Course in Miracles. They do their own workshops, and on June 16th I will be sponsoring them in Sedona, where they will be doing a workshop there in Sedona. I'll send out a newsletter on that in about the next week to let you know that. That's a side note, but I just wanted to share that here. It's really important as we are preparing ourselves for these funds coming forward to know and to understand this isn't about you and me getting money for us just to have money. It's not about you being free and you being relieved and you having more money and others doing without. It's about us coming together as a collective group, understanding what it is to help us move into the new paradigm that humanity is moving into. Also, it's about us as a group taking responsibility, because we've been allowed to have these funds, of being the people who are going to give an example out there to others around the world of what heart consciousness is, in contrast to the coming world of the transhumanist agenda, i.e. the artificial intelligence world. Those are the two contrasts that are there. If you want to understand that, again, go back and read the 5th interview by Dr. Neruda, and you can find it on the wingmakers.com website. That's I highly encourage you to go read that, folks, if you really want to get and understand what's going on and what's taking place here. So, that's kind of what I'm going to be talking about tomorrow night. I'm going to be moving into that. You know, it's what's really interesting. See, when I talk about money, all of a sudden the viewership shoots up, and the videos, the viewerships on the videos, and the listening on the radio program shoots up. And I start talking about issues like this, the viewers drop, the listeners drop. Well, it just shows me what people are committed to. If they're committed to, I want the money, well, then fine, you can have the money, but you'll still be dealing with a deep separation consciousness, a lot of pain, a lot of discord, a lot of agony, a lot of disruption issues in your life. That stuff doesn't stop until we learn how to undo the separation consciousness. Of all the things that I talk about, to me, that is the most important. Because until we understand that, we as a human race, as a humanity, we really don't move forward. We'll continue what we've been doing for basically thousands of years. Fighting, warring, killing, disrupting, and creating division amongst ourselves. Separation consciousness is the ability, I should say, undoing the separation consciousness, undoing the ego consciousness is what brings the healing to that. And I'll talk about that as well. This is an issue I've been working on in my own personal life now, as I said, for close to 9 years. I do a lot of reading on this because this is where my passion is. This is what motivates me. This is where I want to spend my time. Because you know what? I'm finding it works. My life has changed so much. You know, for those of you that have been with me here for the whole 4 to 5 years I've been doing these programs, you've seen the growth in my life. You've seen the change in my life. You've seen the shifts and the change that have gone on here. You've seen the number of rabbit holes I've been able to go down, how one just continues leading to another. And how do I find this stuff? Well, because I really believe it's a divine assignment in my life. But it comes to me and it finds me because I make room for it and make it available, because I let go of the discord in my own life. As I undo my own separation consciousness, I move more and more into the state of peace, being in a state of peace, being in a state of quietness, and I'm not caught up into the drama that's going around me in this world. And believe me, I used to know what it was like to be in the drama world. You forget, remember, I was a state senator. I was in politics for 12 years. You want to talk about a drama world? I was in it. And I was living that drama. And I've learned how to let go of all of that into where I don't live this drama anymore, because I know it's just an external, peripheral issue that is just part of this separation consciousness world. And it's a part of a world that I want to move past and move beyond. It's not so much that we move beyond it, it's that we rise above it. We're still here. We still live here. We still exist in this, what we call this world of form. But we learn how to step into a whole completely different mindset that brings peace, that brings harmony, that brings wholeness, that brings completion, and brings a lot of love in our lives. And at the end of the day, that's really what we all want. Okay? So with that, it's a pleasure to be back again on the video series, and it'll be nice to hope that you'll join me again tomorrow night on May 2nd. I want to make also just a couple of other announcements. We still have maybe about 8 more seats left for the workshop in Dallas-Fort Worth this coming weekend. 2 weeks after that, I'm going to have Mr. and Ms. M, in Atlanta. They will be joining me again in Atlanta on May 19th. Now, tentatively, I don't have this solid yet, but 2 weeks after that, on June 2nd, we're going to be in Minneapolis. Mr. M and Ms. M are going to be in Minneapolis. It looks like they're going to be joining me a little bit more for a lot of these workshops for a period of time. On another side note, about 2 weeks after that, I've been invited to go to Norway to do a workshop there. Now, they won't be coming with me on that one, but so I will be going to Norway to do a workshop there for a group of people that they've invited me to come, and they're organized, they're together as a group and paying the expenses, and I thought, why not? I'd love to go to Norway. Never been there. So, okay, with that, love all of you, and we hope to see you tomorrow night. If you can't join us live tomorrow night, you can listen to the program archived anytime. All right, thanks a lot. Okay, bye-bye.